Imagine an industrial turbine engineered to power a city, spinning flawlessly in a vacuum. It works perfectly, but it's connected to absolutely nothing. In November 2025, the Monad network launched its mainnet and delivered its core technical promise, a parallelized Ethereum virtual machine with a theoretical capacity of 10,000 transactions per second. The network quickly attracted over $355 million in total value locked, but a look at live performance reveals a stark discrepancy. The organic network throughput averages a mere 26 transactions per second. That 26 TPS represents roughly 0.07% of the network's total capacity. This reflects an early-stage ecosystem where developer deployments have arrived ahead of actual transactional demand. Building a high-throughput engine does not automatically generate economic demand to run through it. And with a structural token unlock scheduled for November 2026, Monad is facing a deadline to bridge the gap between its technical capacity and its economic reality. To isolate the problem, we first have to validate the underlying engine by comparing Monad's live operational metrics against established networks like Solana and standard Ethereum Layer 2 rollups. This matrix shows a clear structural advantage for Monad. It maintains full bytecode compatibility with Ethereum smart contracts. Solana, by contrast, requires architectures like Rust and the Solana virtual machine. Looking down the chart at latency metrics, Monad executes an average block time of 400 milliseconds, achieving single-slot transaction finality in roughly 800 milliseconds. What makes these speeds notable is the hardware running them. The bottom row shows Monad relies on over 200 consumer-grade validators, whereas networks like Solana require specialized high-end server configurations. Lowering the hardware barrier allows more independent node operators to participate. This maintains structural accessibility and prevents validator centralization, all while sustaining sub-second execution. The data confirms the technology works as advertised. The execution layer is compatible and decentralized. Therefore, the network's vulnerabilities do not lie in its code, but in its economic and ecosystem dynamics. Since launch, Monad has successfully attracted capital, stabilizing near a peak of $400 million in total value locked. However, this growth was heavily influenced by the Monad Momentum Incentive Program, a campaign designed to reward users for bringing assets onto the network. This graph illustrates the severity of the disconnect. On one axis, we have $400 million in locked capital. On the other, daily protocol fees have flatlined, remaining below $5,000 for much of early 2026. This gap represents mercenary capital. These are funds parked on the network to farm airdrop points and yield rewards, rather than to execute genuine, fee-generating economic activity. We can observe the physical effects of this liquidity illusion by looking at the decentralized trading platform, Pingu Exchange. Pingu initially launched on Arbitrum, where it successfully processed over $2.4 billion in volume. Seeking to capitalize on sub-second execution speeds, the development team migrated the entire operation to the Monad mainnet. Over 6 months, they generated only $80 million in cumulative trading volume. The platform struggled to maintain economic viability. Without organic trading volume to generate fees, the team stopped taking salaries in February 2026 and elected to wind down the protocol. High-throughput, low-latency execution offers zero value to developers if the host network cannot provide a sustained base of organic liquidity. This lack of organic liquidity is compounded by security risks. The speed of Layer 1 execution has outpaced the administrative security maturity of the applications deploying on it. Take the May 18th breach of Echo Protocol, a wrapped Bitcoin platform on Monad. This exploit did not involve complex smart contract bugs. Instead, the attacker targeted off-chain infrastructure. The attacker compromised the private key of a single administrator's externally owned account.
Using that single key, the attacker assigned themselves minting permissions and generated 1,000 unbacked EBTC tokens, representing a nominal value of $76.7 million without depositing collateral. To extract the value, the attacker deposited 45 of these fake tokens into Curvance, a lending market on Monad. The protocol's oracle accepted the unbacked tokens as valid collateral, allowing the attacker to borrow and extract 11.3 real wrapped Bitcoin. Just 6 days later, the StableR protocol suffered a similar infrastructure compromise, resulting in $12.8 million in unauthorized token issuance through a multisig takeover. When protocols rely on centralized, low-threshold off-chain key management to govern assets, high-performance DeFi becomes a fragile ecosystem where assets can be drained in fractions of a second. These operational and security hurdles lead us to the foundational economic model of the network, the supply dynamics of the native MON token. This chart displays the token's current distribution. Out of an initial supply of 100 billion MON, only about 11.8 billion tokens are actually circulating in the market. Of that small circulating float, the top 10 wallets control approximately 42%. This concentration increases the risk of asset volatility. Because so few tokens are trading, it creates a significant gap in valuation. The current live float gives the network a market capitalization near $400 million, while the fully diluted valuation sits at roughly $3.4 billion. This structure faces an impending stress test. On November 24, 2026, the strict one-year lockup cliff concludes. On that date, 46.7 billion locked tokens allocated to teams, investors, and the Category Labs treasury will begin their linear vesting release into the open market. This supply expansion is combined with staking inflation, which mints roughly 2 billion new MON tokens annually to pay for validator security. To counter this incoming supply, Monad relies on a fee burn protocol. Every time a transaction occurs, the base execution fee is permanently destroyed, acting as a deflationary offset. However, if network utilization remains at 0.07%, the resulting fee burn will be insufficient to offset the 2026 supply expansion. This creates an environment where new token supply will significantly outpace the rate of permanent destruction. To survive the 2026 cliff, Monad must pivot away from mercenary DeFi yield farming and generate high-velocity, non-speculative transaction volume. The clearest pathway to that volume is institutional capital, spearheaded by platforms like Mu Digital and their Infinite Ways to Earn liquidity campaign. Based in Hong Kong, Mu Digital is tokenizing a portion of Asia's $20 trillion credit market directly onto the Monad execution layer. By partnering with native ecosystem protocols, they are allowing users to deploy capital into yield-generating strategies backed by stable Asian government and corporate debt. This is happening alongside the launch of the Open Transaction Layer, an open-source interoperability standard backed by entities like Fireblocks and Robinhood to streamline institutional capital flows. Monad's inclusion in these standards, combined with ongoing partnerships with Securitize and Franklin Templeton, provides a foundation for traditional capital markets and asset tokenization. Integrating real-world assets bridges the economic gap. It replaces airdrop hunters with non-speculative capital, providing the consistent transactional demand required to fuel the network's fee burn mechanism. Ultimately, a high-speed system requires a consistent and heavy flow of data to actually serve its purpose. Monad has established the technical architecture for a parallel EVM, demonstrating that this design can function within a live mainnet environment. But theoretical capacity and incentivized capital deposits cannot substitute for organic utility. Monad's legacy will be decided by its ability to route enough non-speculative institutional capital through its engine to balance its incoming supply before the 2026 vesting clock runs out.